Welcome to Derry, episode 2. Let's talk about the ending. Where exactly do we go from here? And what is this new lore with some weapons, the army, and all of that that's getting added to it? Because it's going to be a doozy one. And I'm very curious to see if they're able to pull it off. Online, we're probably going to hear a lot of people get so pissed off about it. But let's talk about it. This is Welcome to Derry. We're covering it weekly. We got theories coming out as well tomorrow for episode 3. So if you don't want to miss out on any of that, you got to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. 50,000 subscribers is our goal. Check out our Any Explain on Bugonia. Check out our thoughts on the Conjuring prequel as well as Scream 7 trailer. Let's get into Welcome to Derry. So pretty much what we see here is the aftermath of episode 1, which episode 1 truly told us be careful who you think is going to be your new favorite character, because we might switch it up on you, as we saw many characters meet a very, very grim demise. And we saw it. We saw the characters of Teddy, Phil, and Phil's sister ultimately die. The missing boy at the forefront, Maddie, of course, at the opening credits. It was an insane episode that showcased that Andy Muschietti does not give a damn. But now we are here, the aftermath. Ronnie and Lily are the only ones that know what really happened in that theater, and Lily is being questioned by the police as she was the one that was in the theater. Ronnie, of course, was in the projection booth. She really couldn't make out what was happening, and Ronnie's father is now being put as the perpetrator. He is the one that killed these kids, is what everybody's saying in Derry, but there's no proof of it. So the police can't do much about this. Ronnie's father says that Ronnie shouldn't worry because there's nothing that's going to pinpoint him there. But Ronnie wants Lily to go and tell the police to make it 100% sure that there is nothing that her father did that night, wasn't even there. And it was these like baby monster that did all of that. But Lily doesn't want to do this, because if Lily goes out and says this very extravagant story to the police, they're just going to say that she is crazy, and they're going to want to put her into this asylum that she used to be in, I believe, after her father's death in the pickle factory. She doesn't want to do that. So this is where we see Ronnie and Lily have a fallout, since Lily doesn't want to go and tell the story to the police, and Ronnie thinks this is the only way her father is going to be free. So it leads to a huge fallout between the two. This is where we see both of them sort of separate as well. We also see that Ronnie meets Will, who is the new kid in town, and Will meets Rich. So it looks like we're going to have a new losers club on our hands here. Now, Will is the son of Major Hanlon, and he is new to Derry, and him and his mother quickly realize that Derry's pretty racist, and there is a lot of shit going on here that people just let happen because it's just the way the town is. The good thing, however, is that Will starts to make a friend in Rich, and Rich is another sort of outcast as well. So it seems that we're going to see these kids really come together with Ronnie, hopefully with Lily, and be the ones that go and find out what happened to Maddie and all of the other kids in Derry. On the other side of the story, of course, is Major Hanlon's story with the air base that he is in. Major Hanlon soon finds out the truth about what happened with those masked men in episode 1. It turns out that they were in fact a test that the General Shaw had put on him to see if he had any fear, and he passed with flying colors. The reason the government wants Major Hanlon to showcase he has no fear is because they have a secret operation called Percept, where they are trying to find a weapon that crashed into Derry many years ago and could be used to harness fear and invoke fear onto others that would make them do drastic things. And Major Hanlon is now going to be a part of this group alongside Dick Halloran. If you don't know who Dick Halloran is, he is also in The Shining, and he does possess The Shining. So he kind of has a foresight of maybe where this could be. Maybe they want Dick Halloran to find the object, and they want Major Hanlon to be the one that retrieves the object, because it sounds like this object can invoke a ton of fear in somebody, and Major Hanlon is fearless according to General Shaw, so he makes the perfect candidate to be able to retrieve this. Now, I don't think the object itself is going to be it, Pennywise, whatever. I think maybe it's a fragment of something that came with Pennywise those hundreds of years ago when he crash landed on Derry. And I think that's what we're going to see what the army really wants. And I'm curious if they're going to be able to get it and harness it and how that would be used, because there is no mention of it being used at all in It Chapter 1 and 2. So wonder how this is going to go. Doesn't sound so great. But Dick Halloran is in The Shining, so they're going to find it, and I think he'll be okay after, because he's still in The Shining and Dr. Sleep. So we'll see what happens there. But by the end of the episode, Mr. Major Hanlon is informed of all of this and is going to be part of this group now. And his first taste of it is they find a car that is full of dead corpses. And of course, why wouldn't it be? Because this is where Pennywise has sort of maybe left the carcasses of the people he has eaten up. And we see also that Ron Ronnie's father gets arrested because Lily gets taken into questioning and she is tricked into sort of giving a confession that I don't know exactly if he wasn't or wasn't at the theater, Ronnie's father. So Ronnie's father goes to jail. We also see that Lily has an incident at the supermarket with some pickles, and her mother decides, you know what's best? You're just going to go to the asylum. So everybody seems to be dealing with a lot right now on their plate, and I think things has been set in motion for the series. We got a little bit of a taste of Pennywise, I feel, as we see his eyes during a nightmare scene that Ronnie has with her dead mother. We find out that her mother died giving birth to her, and so this is what's haunting her as well. And Pennywise is starting the assault really quick on all of the children, so I'm curious to see where it's going. Now we have Lily going to the asylum and is going to be separated from Ronnie. Ronnie is dealing with her father being taken and trying to figure out how to find Maddie and the rest of the kids so she can prove her father's innocence. We also have Major Hanlon now on Operation Percept with General Shaw and Dick Halloran to try and find this weapon that they are trying to harness. The Native Americans here also make an appearance because they are going to be crucial to all of this and might know more about the land and what's going on. And I really love how the story is really coming together now, and I'm excited to see what happens next. So Ronnie's father, I'm not sure how he's going to be let go, right? How are they going to prove that it wasn't him and was in fact Pennywise the dancing clown, or it who came here a long time ago, right? I think that's where you're really gonna see this story really get crazy in the next coming episodes. And the Weeks Ahead trailer didn't showcase that much of the rest of the season, I feel, because a lot of that trailer we already saw in this episode. So I'm excited to see where this show goes. I have some theories for you I will be talking about tomorrow, so stay tuned for that video, and I'm excited to really get into the show a lot more with all of you. So as always, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions on this episode and its ending. How do you think Ronnie's father is going to get out of this? Do you think that they are going to find this weapon? And what exactly is this weapon? Is it a shard that came off of it many years ago and was left behind? And how exactly did Dick Halloran even come to find out about this weapon? Of course, we know he has the Shining, but I'm curious to see if there's going to be a way that he sort of had the foresight to figure out that this was here. And how did he convince the army as well about this? Derry does know that there is something up here. We hear it from the police officers when they sort of mockingly say maybe it was it that did this to the children, right? So we know that Pennywise shows up every 27 years. So of course there had to be rumblings when this happened back in the 30s, I believe. That's when the next one's going to take place, or the 40s, and even before that. So these older people here probably have heard rumblings about mysterious things happening in the town, and it's the 27th anniversary, so of course it was going to happen again. But I'll talk more about that in theories and my thoughts on what comes next. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on it in the comments down below. The nightmare sequences were really great this episode. I think the one with Ronnie and her mother was really interesting because you get a lot more of the background between Ronnie and her family and why she feels maybe the way she does at times. I think that the adult drama is really great as well, with the Hanlons really trying to figure out if they fit in here or not, and it's really just great to see this adult drama at the same time. You also see Ronnie's grandmother as well as her father, and them trying to sort of deal not just with the horrors that happened at the theater that day and the looming presence of Pennywise, but also the horrors of racism that is affecting Derry through this time and has been affecting the world as well. And it just makes it such a nuanced and very interesting watch because of this. And I really do love that Andy Muschietti is sort of digging into these issues, not just really trying to focus it on Pennywise, because yes, indeed, Pennywise is terrifying, but so is racism and bigots and these people that want to do harm to you just because of the color of your skin. And I think it's so great how we're seeing the show really balance these in a really great manner, and I think Stephen King would definitely be proud of what we're seeing here. So very excited to see the direction that the show is going to go into. I'm also curious about this whole thing with the army trying to use whatever fragment this is as a weapon, because how does this work exactly? Does Pennywise get pissed about it? Does he know about it? Is this a setup maybe from Pennywise to grow stronger? That's going to be more in my theories, but I did find that so interesting how it pivoted that way. And that's something I said in my theory video that I did a couple of days before the episode came out, that seems to be something that the army is doing. They're up to something because we saw it in the trailer for the weeks ahead. So very, very interesting stuff. I also want to say I really did like this episode a lot more than the first episode. I thought there were some really great sequences. I think the dream nightmare sequences that the characters had here were a lot better and didn't really go deep into the CGI as much like they did, but they didn't really stand out in a bad way for me like they did in the first episode. And I know I'm kind of sounding ridiculous talking about that, but that's just how I feel about it. I just kind of don't like when it looks too much like a video game. I don't mind it with video games and things like that, but when it's a TV show like this one, I would love a lot more practical effect and more like building them out, because I think you can get some pretty great stuff when you do it that way. It's just something when it looks too polished, it doesn't work too well with me. But I'm telling you, I'm loving the series so far as a whole, and this episode truly was a better step in the direction I was hoping the series would be. So very excited to see what comes next, and very curious to see where the Losers Club go from here. But let me know your thoughts and opinions. Follow for more on things you love. 50,000 subscribers is the goal. I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.